number one. But you know what? I have the Niners at 1, and how gutless would it be if I moved the Ravens up and then couched it by saying, oh, now I'll let them figure it out when they play each other. Forget it. I'm staying strong with the Niners at 1, and the Ravens want the number 1 spot. Matt Money Smith in the power rankings. They got to go get it.
Well, here, Sup, as through the tweet, has the baby excited and suggests that we shouldn't even debate it because we will have the contest head-to-head on Sunday afternoon. And remember, that is an afternoon game.
That's a disgrace, by the way.
It's not a disgrace.
And it's all because the Patriots in big NFL doesn't want to move the Pats out of prime time, and so we don't get a Super Bowl preview for Al, Chris, and Michelle.
I would say, if I may, not that this is a debate that people should care about, but CBS wants that game. They're like, hey, that's our game. And guess what? We're keeping that game. So you can't have it, NBC. Keep your grubby hands off of our game. It's ours. I believe that's a CBS. Oh, no, it's Fox. It's Aikman who's saying, hey, Collinsworth, beat it. My game, me, Buck, you get lost.
Aikman's gotten enough good things in his life. Give the people their primetime football.
Certainly. Very excited to hear Troy Aikman analyze both Garoppolo.
Just so you guys know, it's actually not Aikman and Buck, but
it's not?
No, they're doing the Thursday game. Charles
Don't
Davis.
They do both?
It's Burkhardt and Davis.
I love Kevin Burkhardt and Charles Davis. Listen, here's what I want to hear. I want to hear Chuck, as a defensive back, talk about how he would like to.
Just take the L. Just take the L.
Listen, we stumble out the gate. It's all my fault. But as we look at 49ers Ravens, we will allow it to be settled on the field. What do we think is going to happen? Who you got? What are you looking at?
Don't ask me. Ask her.
Cynthia, who you got? What are you looking at?
Well, I'm looking at both of you who can take both of that L's. And I think that we see the
maybe
Niners.
Help me make sense of what the heck's going on.
I think the Niners take the L in this one. Right now with Lamar Jackson and how healthy this team is, it's just a big plus in the plus column for them compared to the Niners who've been struggling with health. One major injury I do want to point out that's going to be impactful moving forward and could be a big one in this one. They just lost their center. The Ravens center is now just went on IR, and this is going to be a big problem because those A-gap rushes have been a big part of their playbook so far this season, both for Lamar Jackson and for Mark Ingram. So without that kind of stability in the middle of their line, especially against the Niners, and moving forward, that could be kind of something to monitor.
So you're scared about the Ravens without Matt Skura?
Well done. Maybe the glasses of shame need to go back on.
Redeem myself. You know what I'm watching?
Yeah.
After Sean
What's his name,
McVay,
Eric?
who wrongly has a coaching tree because it's Kyle Shanahan's coaching tree.
Respect
That's
Kyle's
the thing.
tree.
Is all of these men that have been hired by they're Kyle Shanahan guys, not Sean McVay guys. I want to see if Shanahan can do what McVay couldn't, and that is trade blows, haymakers, touchdowns. For touchdowns, you saw Garoppolo and you saw him dial up, particularly that one Kittle touchdown where Green Bay was absolutely not ready for it. Want to see if he can do that and trade again, touchdowns for touchdowns and make this a one-possession game in the final 5 minutes and see if Lamar Jackson or Jimmy Garoppolo are up for that big fourth quarter win.
Isn't that the big thing here? They get the ball 6 times, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on Monday night. They score touchdown. I mean, it's absurd, and I guess that's why I feel a little, I don't know, uncomfortable right now because I do have the Niners at 1, but how can you pick against the Ravens at home right now? And
especially
if that's
early.
the truth, if I think the Ravens should win, shouldn't they be number 1 right now? It's all a farce. I blew it. What a crisis of confidence.
Well, yeah, you said it would have been gutless. I would have said no. What you did was gutless because you didn't change anything. Like you're like, hey, look, the 49ers won. What do you want me to do? They
glasses of shame must go on.
There we go. All right, let's move to 9 through 16 as we get to the second quadrant of our power rankings. Texans atop after their win over the Colts on Thursday night. The Bills with 8 wins.
Oh, pandering to Bills Mafia, are we?
Were you pandering?
Pandering is strong.
Yeah, because look at who's right below
Let's start
them.
there. Let's start there as we get the power moves presented by Energizer. Still going. Love you, Energizer, and that little bunny. Up 4. Let's start with the Bills.
Still going.
Because I feel like moving on up, and there is the Bills' social feed. Bills break into the top 10. Look at that. You get acknowledged by the folks in Orchard Park.
And they hadn't been doing it lately because I have resisted the top 10 in the Buffalo Bills for I feel like obvious reason that they don't feel like a true class of the NFL type team, a top 10 type team. But 8-3 is 8-3, and I will respect that and move them ahead of Dallas, who keep stumbling. And I will say this, that I feel like the Bills since Jim Kelly retired, just been like 25 years or something. I feel like they've played 800 1 p.m. games on a Sunday This is so interesting to me to see them on Thanksgiving in the middle afternoon spot. The most people that will have watched the Bills in years. And how will Josh Allen and how will that Buffalo defense travel in that spot? It's the game by far that's the most interesting on Turkey Day.
Well, one note about the Bills Mafia traveling this season, they've kept it really close. They've been really good at having competitive games when they've gone on the road, and I think that continues. But I don't think there's any way that they come out with a win in there, right?
Anyway?
Well, okay,
Josh Allen's been
there's
great
a
the last
way,
4 games.
but
The
I think
defense is solid.
But I think the number 11 team, the Cowboys, come out with the win in this one. They're on Thanksgiving. They're not gonna lose at home.
You say I'm pandering, but I think you're really hitting out because you have an issue with Bills fans and vice versa. And don't bring me into your situation.
They're fake Midwesterners. They're wannabe Midwesterners. You just want to be from the Midwest, but you're a New Yorker.
Yeah.
You have been the Chiefs person all season.
Yes.
I've been the Bills guy all season. I have worn it from the two of you as it pertains to the Bills. So I will finish with one question because I have said I believe they are a playoff team all along. Do you believe they get in? Do they get that 10th win and get in as a wild card team?
Yes, and it's because to me the win this past Sunday was so important because it gave them the wiggle room they need because they do have a tough schedule the rest of the way, but they have to get to 10, and I think they will get to 10, and they don't even have to play 500 to do that. So yes, they will get in.
You don't think the Jets are going to?
Watch out for the Jets. We'll talk about that.
We'll get that a little bit later.
Look,
I think they make it.
In fairness, I really like Bills Mafia. I just like this banter we have going back and forth this season.
Don't be insincere.
No, I really do like them.
Sunglasses of shame.
It's not shame. I
Lying
really
to
like
Yes
the
or no?
audience.
Do they make the playoffs?
She lies.
I think it's 50-50.
No, that's not. I said yes or no.
I
Yes or
do
no.
math.
Yes or no. Yes or
I
no.
do math.
Yes or no?
Right now, I have this thing.
Yes or no?
Listen, I've stayed up like
Fine.
all night
I believe
figuring
you.
You
this
can't
out
say
for all
I do
of us.
math and then say 50-50.
I do 48%.
All right.
That's a no. That's less
48%
than 50. That's
that
a
they
no.
miss.
Cowboys.
No, 48% that they make it, so 52 that they miss.
Oh.
All right,
Cowboys.
Let's go. Power moves. Down. They slide.
I'm so sick of the Cowboys at this point, and it's because I believed in them, and I pounded the table, and I've trusted science and data and all the
Data.
advanced analytics that have told
Jerks
us
say data.
that they are the best offense in the league, and they're going to go on this big run. But remember, they started 3-0, and now they're 6-5, and we're almost into December, and you just wonder if it's ever going to happen. Now, I do think it's a good spot for them on Thanksgiving. Good job by Jera getting out there and making comments, basically saying,
He's on one this week.
Jason Garrett's going to use up his 19th life if they don't find a way to get in the playoffs and make a little noise. And I think they'll respond to that. I think this is a really good I'm locking this one up for
You're
the
locking
Cowboys.
this up.
Yes.
All right.
That's not a part of our show. It's a part of the podcast I'm on.
But
I'm
yes
locking
or
them
no?
up.
All right, so I'll flip this to you.
You just said, you were like, oh, there's no way. What? You're locking it up. Okay.
How about
All right.
Cowboys make the playoffs? Yes or no?
No.
Yes or no?
Yes. The
I think the
Eagles
Eagles-
stink.
I
Have
think
you
the
seen
Eagles
the Eagles'
make
schedule,
the
though?
Yeah.
It is considerably easier.
Yes, but do you think
Considerably
anybody
easier than
on the
Cowboys.
Eagles' schedule should be viewed as an opponent that they'll walk over? They can't score points.
No.
That offense is broken, and it won't be fixed until Howie Roseman can
You don't,
dig his
you don't think you, what do you, you
Final
don't think
one.
this week?
Claws.
Or no, not final one. We got
This
2 more.
week?
hands, clauses.
All right, 2 more. Titans.
Titans, I moved them up a ton this week, and it's just like it's
6
not.
spots.
Yeah, it's not even so much that all of a sudden I believe in the Titans and view them as some type of lurking giant in the AFC, but this middle section of the league, there's just so much up and down action, and the Titans are they're so strong right now. Derrick Henry is the superstar that nobody talks about. What he does on a weekly basis for that offense, and now he has help at quarterback. Ryan Tannehill is playing like you could look at it 2 ways. The guy the Dolphins thought they were getting out of Texas A&M, or the guy they thought that Marcus Mariota was going to be for them. He is moving the ball with his legs and his arm, and with Henry there as well. I just like them right now a lot.
What happens when Jonathan Williams out rushes or out scrimmage yards Derrick Henry this week for
That
the
would
Colts?
be a really.
Then I
Then
guess
the
the Colts
Colts
would win.
move up, right?
Then I
Yeah.
guess the Colts would win. You don't buy the Titans.
It's not that I don't buy the Titans. I think that whole division, all they do is beat each other
Okay.
up. The Titans will go to the Colts and be like, oh, the Colts win this one, and then somehow someone will lose to the Jags, and then this whole division
with you on that.
they just cannibalize wins
Do
from
they
each
get
other.
2? Do they get 2 in the playoffs?
They're going to go 9-7 because they always go 9-7, and then it's a coin flip, 48% chance.
Nope, that one's a little different. Wait,
What do you have?
you
What
want
do you have?
Titans?
Come
Oh,
on, give me
listen,
that.
I do a lot of I do
say
math.
48.
We got
30.3.
Ooh,
Okay.
definitely not making it according to her model. All right, let's
Stingy
get
old
one more
model.
in here. How about the Rams, I should say?
I mean,
They're still too high.
I'm taking the L on this one, and Monday
Yeah, you are.
I'll give you a little pop on this
Please.
because you've been killing the Rams. Well, you kill a lot of things. You kill U2 records.
Naturally a negative guy.
But I have to say that the Rams are a team that I kind of I hung with too long. I kept them in the top 12 longer than they deserve to be. So I buried them this week after a total no-show at home. And it wasn't even, look at it this way. This is what was crazy to me about this game. 53 weeks ago, the brilliant young quarterback that would be MVP, Patrick Mahomes, comes to L.A. They go toe-to-toe with him. And Jared Goff even outplays Mahomes or wins that game. This year, the same thing happens. Put Lamar Jackson and Mahomes in the spot, and they're not even competitive. And that was it's telling how quickly the Super Bowl window can shut in the NFL and just how much work all of a sudden Los Angeles and Les Snead and McVay have to do.
Do they make it?
No. I think they're done.
Over.
It's over.
Done.
I'm going to say 18%.
No,
Yeah, okay,
it can't
guess.
be that low because they got 6 wins.
21-5.
Still low. Yeah. All right. Well, at least we all agree.
That's pretty close.
That was really close, actually. You're good.
I know the model.
When we return, we will keep things going as it pertains to the next 2 quadrants, particularly a Browns team. A little spice.
I read that as
them.
like Marquise Brown. That's what I thought of.
Oh, little Hollywood action.
Mayfield under center. Takes the snap. Play action, fakes a shove. Looking, going down the field. There's Beckham out there. Got it! Touchdown! OBJ right in front of the dog pound.
Good job of running by the defender by Odell.
And he beat the young defensive back, Nick Needham. And boy, he looked up into a tough sun. That might have been the toughest part.
A big victory for the Browns against the Dolphins. That moved them up 4 spots to number 17 per Dan Hanzus here on Power Rankings presented by Energizer. Still going. So let's get to those Browns and why they made such a big jump after a relatively easy victory over a Miami team that's gotten beaten up pretty regularly this year.
Yeah, and the Dolphins are one of the worst teams in the league, so you got to take it with a grain of salt. But it just, in general, I felt like they could have went one of 2 ways after the Myles Garrett fiasco. And what do? They show up and they blow out a team in the offense, which is Jarvis Landry. And as much as we're hearing that Odell Beckham and Baker Mayfield have no chemistry, Landry and Mayfield have done very well together, and they're continuing to produce as a pairing. Beckham's starting to get back on the map a little bit, but it's still a weird situation. But that backfield combination of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, it's a good offense, and it's finally starting to come together, so it makes them dangerous.
All right, so most importantly, Cynthia, let's get a look. This has been the theme of the show, yes or no. Let's get a look at that Browns schedule. They got 5 remaining. A lot of people asked whether or not they could win out or win enough games to get into the postseason. You see what they have. Steelers.
I see it.
And you know what that's all about there. Then Bengals.
That's a 1 o'clock game right there.
Then they travel to Arizona to take on a frisky Cardinal bunch with Kyler Murray, who might be working his way into that Rookie of the Year conversation if the Raiders fall apart.
That's a trouble spot for a Freddie Kitchens team, I can tell you that right now.
And then, of course, you got the Ravens there, which does not look like an easy task based on what we've seen as of late. Do the Browns get in?
Nope.
Okay.
Why? Because without Myles Garrett, who brought the most pressure as a single contributor for any team, they're not going to have the kind of defensive stops that they need to. Sure, it looked okay against Miami, but when you get against Kyler Murray, that actually like swung everything for me, because ahead of losing Myles Garrett for the season, I actually had them winning that game. And now going on the road to Arizona, that now swings to an Arizona win or loss, right? Or Arizona win, so they get the loss, meaning 2 more L's at least.
Right. And likely not getting that victory over the Ravens. Even
No.
though they did beat them in Baltimore, it just feels like a much different Ravens team from that
Different
point
world.
in the season. We did have someone that wanted to weigh in and took issue with your rankings, Dan. We do this
Is it Lamar?
What?
periodically, and this is from Swarly or Swarly. You still have the Steelers higher than the Browns. Do you believe in your heart of hearts, Dan Hanzus, that the Steelers are a better team than the Browns as we find ourselves in Week 13?
Duck, duck, goose.
Yeah, no, I think the Steelers' defense is better than what the Browns have been able to put out on any level this season, either side of the ball. The Duck Hodges thing is a little dodgy right now. Duck the dodge, dodge the duck.
Dodge, dive,
Right.
dip.
I would
dodge.
say that the
Dodge.
Steelers, yes, at this point, should be ahead of the Browns. But the Browns,
I'm more excited about them with Duck Hodges.
well, yeah, Mason Rudolph was a mess.
Terrible.
And with the Browns, yeah, if they can beat the Steelers, they'll have 4 wins in a row and a lot of juice. But I looked at that and I saw 7 and 9. I still think the Steelers are going to be a better team at the end, unless Hodges is just a disaster.
I'm really excited for Benny Snell. I know that sounds ridiculous,
That
but
does
I
sound
love
ridiculous.
seeing some good Benny Snell action this week.
There we go. If you
get
like
it.
Benny Snell, right here, simpatico with this one. All right, let's get our last quadrant in. 25 through 32. We normally don't focus on a whole lot of these because it is the final quadrant. So why don't we?
Can I make one note about this, though?
We may make it in just a moment.
Oh, but I want to know which team's not in here. Okay, keep
we
going.
may make it in just
Okay.
a
That's a
moment.
host.
Yes, exactly.
That
Let's
is a
start with honest assessments. We kind of like to rifle through these super fast with you, Dan Hanzu. So, Week 13 honest assessment: Packers.
If
down
you're a
one
Packers
spot.
fan, you got to be nervous. You just got killed on Sunday night by the Niners, and it makes you think, are we just a tick below these truly great Super Bowl contenders? I kind of think they might be after what we saw.
Well,
How does that happen?
Your O-line. What, like you need Bakhtiari in there. You need a little
Balaga.
Or Balaga.
Yeah, but I think that was something that we mentioned after that Packer game, that Packer-Charger game. Those tackles, they are living on reputation, not on production. And now that you have one of them down who really wasn't playing that well in the first place, I don't know. I'm with you. I'd be very nervous about that team moving forward. How about the Raiders, who needed that victory against the Jets, and boy, did they get beat around.
It was the all-time trap game right there, because the Raiders have the Chiefs at Arrowhead this week, and I suppose they believe they could handle the Jets and were just a letdown because they didn't show up on either side of the ball. And Gruden pulling Derek Carr in the third quarter, I mean, it was, in terms of disastrous games that could change the entire trajectory of a season, I mean, that could be textbook, because I don't like their chances this week either. And then all of a sudden they're 500.
Right. I would add, not surprised. I thought that was a bad matchup for them going in. We talked about, I thought their defense was, again, not as great as they were being celebrated to be in those games against the Chargers and the following week against the Bengals. And I think the Jets, just a bad matchup. Stout on the front. And Darnold's been playing better. I mean, he has been playing a lot better, and I think they knew exactly what they wanted to do to Derek Carr, and they executed it. All right, next honest assessment. How about the Eagles?
I mean, wait till next year, Philadelphia. They're broken on offense. They are a broken team, and there are no reinforcements coming. They cut ties with Jordan Matthews, but the fact that he had been a focal point of their offense for the past 2 weeks, it just tells you how far this has gone. And Carson Wentz is not innocent in all this either. He's just been
innocent.
Bad. He's been not good this year.
Guilty.
Your model looks at the long play. They do have a very favorable schedule.
Yes.
Are you as down? Dan dropped them 7 spots. Are you as down on the
Hang on.
Eagles as Dan?
No. First of all, it's between them and the Cowboys in their division, right? Like, obviously,
Yeah,
right?
both teams are flawed.
Right. Both teams are severely flawed, and somebody's got to make it. Who has the easier schedule remaining? By far, it's the Eagles. So for me, even though you're right, Jordan
But who's the
Matthews,
better team? By far the Cowboys, aren't they?
it doesn't matter. You are what your
If
record
you can't
says you
beat
are.
great teams, which the Cowboys can't, if all you have left on your schedule are great teams, it kind of lines up poorly for them, right? I mean,
They
they
better
beat
win on
bad
Thursday.
teams. Yeah, they better.
They better win on Thursday.
They better. Feels kind of like that Charger game a couple years ago on Thursday night, right? When the Chargers went in and kicked them around a little bit on Thanksgiving, and now you got the Bills to deal with. All right, what is the Jets? It says here the Jets are 22, up 5 spots.
Not in the last quadrant.
But you already called them the glasses of shame. That's good. Put them on
No,
because that is shameful
this is
that you would
the
move
future
them up
is so
5.
bright. I gotta wear shades.
Oh, boy.
Section of the show because this is the best bad team in football. They are good bad
The
team.
Cardinals
And
beg to differ.
Guess what? Soon
That's
they
a
will
tough
be
one, actually. I don't know, Jets or Cardinals. What's the better bad team?
The Cardinals, I would 100% say they've already made a huge investment. Who are they getting in the offseason? Cardinals,
Soon
they
the
got a lot of
Jets
cash.
Will be not a good bad team, but a bad good team. And it's because of both sides of the ball. We're finally seeing Adam Gase work with Sam Darnold in a way that's helping him. The offensive line has improved vastly. And then on the defensive side of the ball, nobody likes Greg Williams. And I get it. He seems like a jerk. But that man can coach a D. And what they've been able to do with not a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, they are the #1 run team in the NFL. And now they've had some with Arthur Millette and bless him Austin in the secondary. They're shutting down Derek Carr and the Raiders. There's some good things happening in the Meadowlands.
I just like
I think
the
I'm
Jamal
leaning your
Adams.
way a little bit. I love Kyler Murray, but I think both teams have the same issue. Offensive line deficiency, and they're both going to have to address it dramatically in the offseason. The thing with cash is it's very hard to buy offensive linemen. You really have to draft and develop. We've seen all the money thrown around at tackles and guards. It works every now and
except
then.
that Kyler Murray is under pressure the most, but he evades pressure the most.
fantastic.
So his ability to make his O-line kind of nullified is greater than Sam Darnold's ability to make his O-line
I would
nullified.
say check out this Sam Darnold tape of
Yeah,
his
Sam's been
ability to
playing-
evade pressure, on the run, make throws. He's making better decisions.
Hills and gullies.
He is special, and I believe in you, Sam.
All right.
I'm glad New York fans, this is exact microcosm.
Here we go.
He hated
You
them,
are
now
the
he loves
hero
them,
I've
then he
waited
hated them,
for.
now he
When
loves them.
we return, we get the Freelance Five, and we will also rank some Thanksgiving foods in case you're trying to figure out how to carve out square footage on your plate and what you ought to do about that too. That's up next on Power Line.
Out of the empty backfield, Jackson rolls to his left, pumps once, throws to the 5, complete. Willie Snead turns, stretches to the pylon. Touchdown, Ravens!
We got a Jackson 5!
The whole nation is seeing how good he has become.
Again, touchdown, 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 punt. I believe were your possessions. Or was it field goal?
No,
then punt?
I don't think. No, RG3.
And that was RG3.
RG3, that's
Yeah,
right.
that was
when the
RG3.
touchdown.
non-scoring drive began.
So there you go.
This
Let's get
tends
the
to
Freelance
happen.
Power Five after you saw Dan Hanzus' rankings
Let's
there.
do
Our
it.
first quadrant. This is the long view. Who wins the Super Bowl? There's the Ravens moving up as they did last
We
week.
got turkey graphic.
Same rankings, I believe, as we had
big
last
bucks.
week. And since we already peppered you on the Chiefs at number 4, you have the 49ers
Tara.
down there at number 5, Cynthia, after that dominant victory for national television audience over the Packers, eh?
Yeah, I
A?
mean, when the teams that are supposed to win, and that's kind of how you keep the projections the same. All those teams there did kind of what they were projected to do, so there wasn't very much of an outlier, and it really kept things the same for the long view, right? Like the Patriots being in that number 1 spot, it's going to be hard for them not to be.
I will address my same concerns.
Yes, please
which
do.
is they look to have home field through the playoffs.
Yes.
They are going to have a bye,
Yes.
and yet the Chiefs are ahead of them.
There.
That's always my head scratcher.
Put these on
like,
the
wait a
model.
minute.
Put 'em on
Chiefs
the
are going to
model.
be
There's no shame.
on the road.
Ain't no shame.
They're going to have to play 3 playoff games to get the Super Bowl, yet somehow they're ahead of the 49ers, who have the best record
The
in
49ers
the NFC.
still have to play a really hard schedule, starting with Baltimore this week, then New Orleans, then they've got the Seahawks to end the season, and the Seahawks are really good. Like they're going to be
Sure.
contending for.
See, and there's
so
the answer.
It's all about potential
Future schedule.
remaining schedule here. So it's not going to change on a weekly basis when the model plays out. So for example, if Baltimore wins this week, which is what the model is projecting, then it's not going to dip the 49ers as much as if Baltimore were to lose this game, they would dip further because it's kind of an unexpected outcome in terms of future wins.
Now this model, this robot, if San Francisco went into Baltimore and spanked the Niners,
Spank the Ravens.
the Ravens, they're going to be in the top 2 next week. They have to be,
Yeah.
right? They have to
Because
be.
what it does is think of it like adding the probabilities of each of their remaining games together, including the playoff games and the probability of having a playoff bye, all those things, adding those things together. So if you do something that's unexpected, you're going to dip or raise higher.
Basically, your model is projecting they're going to lose a couple of them games to the Ravens, to the Saints, maybe to Seattle.
It's a hard schedule.
And then next thing
or
you know,
dodge
you
or
don't have
dive
the
or dip
number
or
1 seed
duck.
anymore.
Or,
Exactly, dodge. Which team tumbled the furthest following this past week?
The Raiders.
Yeah.
Look, those one possession wins were almost a little confounding in general because all of their wins, or 6 wins, all came within 1 possession. So that can be a little, I'm going to use the word lucky, but if there was another possession in the game that wouldn't have ended the same way, right? And then all of their losses have been double digits. So that's a strange team setup, meaning they kind of over-indexed for wins based on what they were supposed to do. So their luck kind of ran out here. And they needed to, obviously if they beat the Chiefs, which is very improbable per my model, but if they beat the Chiefs, that will change everything again. But they swung 20% down. They're
Believe it.
totally out of it now.
They needed that win.
Yeah, because in order to keep pace with all of the other permutations of what happens with
By
the
the way,
AFC.
and you see it every week. Division games are tough, let alone division games on the road. They still have to play at Kansas City, at LA, and at Denver. That is still on their schedule. All road games in division. All right, let's go random ranker. And we are doing Thanksgiving food.
Ooh.
And I believe, Cynthia, you are getting us started. Your top 5.
Well, I don't know why we want to
Thanksgiving
start with the one that's
foods
correct, but
slash-
okay. All right,
there we
I would
go. I
like to
figured
point out.
someone would put a drink on.
Look at the
Perfect.
graphics.
Yeah, you need a good cab, right? How are you going to deal with your family without a little bit of booze? Just the right amount, a good cab.
Okay.
Green bean casserole. We're Italian, even though my last name doesn't sound Italian,
Sure,
but
certainly does not.
the Marigot, Conti is my other side.
Maroon.
Yeah, exactly. Sweet potatoes with marshmallows. That's really important.
Cognoscente.
And then number 1, really good.
Cognoscente. And marrone is marrone, and that's just brown.
Marrone.
I nailed it.
Manicotti.
It's Marigot. Marigot.
Let's get into stuffing at number 1 there.
Gabagoo.
It's just
Gabagool.
It's bread.
Yeah.
It's just bread.
You think I sit
That's-
around eating amazingly
that's just so
goofy-
filling.
That better
though.
be good
Oh,
stuff.
last
it's
thing,
so
ugh.
good. It tastes so good.
Takes
I rarely.
up valuable space in your stomach.
That I was going to say the same thing. You only have so much real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Throw a bunch of
I'm glad
stuff
our
in there.
turkey's still on the
Yes.
screen though.
All right, Dan.
All right, this is a good one.
Your top 5.
This
Here
is
we
actually
go.
the correct top 5. So at number 5, Tito's vodka, and not, Tanton, who's a Chicago guy, he's like, oh, I love my beer. He doesn't understand there's difference in alcohols. It's got to be Tito's.
She's got. Why?
It's got to be
No, it doesn't.
handcrafted from Austin, Texas.
Oh, God.
The hangover
Wow.
free.
Whatever.
You can add him.
Yeah.
Know what you're
Looking
doing.
for a
Remember, you
sponsorship,
serve
are we,
Hans's
Dan?
vodka. If it's not Tito, he's going to turn it down.
Yeah.
And then, of
Yeah,
course-
no, you're not. The answer
And-
is no, you're not.
And then it should
At
be
Dan
said
Hanzus.
in the production meeting, Money's like, oh, vodka, not so masculine. It's like,
I didn't
get
say
with
that.
the times,
I just said specifically
Money.
asking for a specific brand. It's like, come on.
Vodka's feminine?
But not at all.
I thought that's where he was going with it. Can we have the list again?
What?
So we got green bean casserole.
Roll
it's
the
at
list.
Russian,
4.
you stinking commie.
I got pecan pie at 3.
Why don't you give us Thanksgiving like this? A pecan pie at 3. 2
mashed potatoes with gravy at 2. And
Mashed
then
potatoes
turkey.
take up room in your
And
stomach.
They do. You're right. You're
And
absolutely right.
What?
Mashed
Hypocrite.
if your problem with mine was my stuffing
Yeah.
was that it takes up
Out
valuable
with
real
the
estate
starch.
in my tummy.
The two of you and
Mashed
your
potatoes.
starches, get
And,
them out.
and Cynthia's a part of this movement. It's like, oh, it's Thanksgiving time. Let me tell you how turkey's not that good. Calm down. Just enjoy the turkey once a year.
I like
Let's have a
it.
good time with it. Let's not go
What
on
about
a-
the green
get a-
bean?
Let's get
What
on
about
the
Aunt
soapbox.
Pauline's
love
green
green
bean
bean.
casserole? with
It's
the
good to have
crispy
a green
onions?
on the plate.
It's
Yeah,
not a green.
good
It's
to have a
covered in
green on the
cream of
plate.
mushroom soup.
But some vegetable there that you could just get in the mix. I'm too old to mix everything up, but I like to get a little messy on the plate, and you get a little green bean in there.
Just so everyone knows, Money's like a real healthy eater until he's not.
Oh,
it's
I'll
like either
hammer.
like really healthy and then like a brisket.
Hammer Thanksgiving. All right, here we go. My top 5. Take it on if you choose. 2 types of turkey. I am all about maybe throw one on
Your wife
the
hates you right now.
rotisserie,
Hey, give me 2 turkeys, honey.
Oh, we go 3. We go 3.
Mrs. Matt
I am
Money
all-
Smith, I'm so
Here's
sorry.
Here's the thing.
What's the third one?
The third one? I
Spicy.
smoke one, we roast one,
It's
and usually
raw.
I'll put one on the rotisserie
Ooh,
on
a
the
tissy
barbecue.
chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got the egg to smoke it, I got the rotisserie, and then
Fried's
one goes in
better.
the oven. Bang. But you want leftover turkey? Is there
For
anything
like
better
6
than cold
years?
turkey with
For
mayo and a
6
nice
years?
King's
They
Hawaiian
got
roll?
Mayo!
Again?
Oh, I have to walk off the set.
All right, here we
Turkey
go.
and mayo.
Pumpkin
Ugh.
pie,
Ugh.
apple pie. I almost put lemon meringue pie on there
that's
as
not
well.
What are yams? I don't know what yams,
know what yams are?
I don't really understand.
So it's sweet potatoes, and you throw them in a nice casserole dish with about, let's just say it's like an 8 by 11 casserole dish. You're probably talking 7, 8 sticks of butter, maybe 5, 6 scoops
Anything with butter.
of brown sugar, and you just kind of cook them in that oven, and they get
It
all
sounds
candied
like
and brown.
the whole thing in yours is like really sweet and also things that are a lot of work for your wife. 2 pies, honey. 3 turkeys, honey.
I make all the pies.
Okay, good.
I
Thank
make
goodness.
the turkeys. How dare you?
And now you're getting
Boy,
into
oh,
gender norms and
misogyny from
stereotypes.
Cynthia Freeland on our
Ugly.
broadcast.
I'm going to talk to Mrs.
I
Matt
do
Money
all the
Smith to
work.
make sure.
Ugliness.
Right.
I do the
Right,
turkeys. I do
between
the
all
pies.
your 50 jobs.
She does the yams. I'm telling you, that's the way it works.
Yeah, she does.
I'm a man who likes
He's
to.
fibbing.
Here's
Who buys the mayonnaise?
I will give you my quick 30-second speech. Typically, for whatever reason, the man breaks out that electric carving knife and carves the turkey, right? So my position is, if that bird is dry and you didn't roast it, it's on you because you're the guy that's serving it. They're like, hey, that guy's bird, not so good. So I say, you be responsible for the bird. Make sure it's juicy because you're the one carving it up. And they can say, oh, that was the most delicious, moist bird I have ever put in my mouth. And they're like, yeah, I know, I made it.
Ew,
Yeah,
I hate
that's-
the M word. Don't use
Nice.
the M word. Ugh.
All right,
Gross
when
word.
we return,
Gross
what are we
word.
doing? I'm too excited about eating tomorrow. Constructive criticism for Dan
Ooh.
Hansen. Wonderful. Maybe it'll be
the
positive this
holidays.
week with it being Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
You never know. Back on Power Rankings presented by Energizer. Still going that feeling when you actually agree with Dan Hanzus. He likes the Titans making that move up. Understandable. So
I
here
have
we
history
go.
with Titans fans, so
To
that
the
back
constructive criticism, Dan, we always like to begin with perhaps somebody that's feeling what you got going this week. So Titans fans excited about the prospect of them perhaps making the playoffs since they made the move to Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. You know what?
I like
That's not bad.
suspect. That's a good
Whatever.
That's a pretty polite
He's also a
way
Bucs
to
fan,
say I
so, like,
disagree.
Yeah, no, that's
I don't
polite.
know.
That's good.
Well,
Good job,
he's been
Troy.
through a lot. He's been rooting for Jameis Winston for 5 years.
Well,
so
perhaps
I'm
it's
going to
just-
cut him some slack.
Maybe it's just an observation. Like, hey, I feel like these are suspect.
It's okay to be wrong.
Right.
And I'm not talking about myself.
Oh, I thought you
Okay, I
were.
was like,
All right, here we go.
own yourself.
Again, through the Twitter, NFL Power Rankings are irrelevant.
I mean, that's true.
Adam Braz, you're right.
mean,
Turns out the
but-
standings and who makes the playoffs probably a little more relevant than your power
It's
rankings.
irrelevant, and you could take that and extend that across so much in life. If you want to look at everything as irrelevant, go ahead. But just enjoy it. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be just a fun little gateway into looking at all the teams. And if you want to be a jerk about it and call it irrelevant or me irrelevant,
Then,
you got to live with yourself.
all right.
You're irrelevant.
Let's get. You're the jerk. From Oscar Hernandez. Dan Hanzus. Tiene que ser el peor analista de Power Rankings. Oh my God. Tampa no es ni de pedo. El equipo 27 de la liga.
Gonna need a translation.
Let's see. You have kind of like no business doing power rankings. Is kind of I believe what that is. And Tampa is not the stink team, the stinky 27th team in the league.
Okay. Well, get back to me this week when Jameis Winston throws. What is all this Tampa Bay heat I'm getting?
I don't know.
I don't
Not
know.
popular in Tampa.
I'm over the Bucks because why shoot them up in the standings when they're just gonna plummet the following week? So I'm just gonna keep them right in that 25 to 27 range until
Stinky.
Winter
The
time.
stinky 27
time?
range.
Yes.
All right, that's it. Enjoy the football games. 3 of them: Lions, Bears, Cowboys, Bills, Saints, Falcons. Enjoy your turkey. Enjoy the tryptophan. Enjoy your nap. And thanks for tuning in. We'll get you next week. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.